All right, ready to dive deep. Today, it's just-in-time inventory management. But not the basic stuff. We're going beyond, to the how does that actually work level. We've got this in-depth guide from NetSuite. And these guys, they know inventory.
Yeah, they're the gurus, for sure.
So we'll get into how companies like Amazon use JIT to, well, be Amazon.
Exactly. Real-world stuff.
But also, the history is wild.
Yeah.
We're talking post-World War II, Japan, their car industry, the whole origin story.
Oh, it's a fascinating story.
But gotta be real. No system is perfect. We'll hit the downsides, the risks, too.
Absolutely. Got to cover it all.
So first things first.
What even is JIT, right?
More than just, getting stuff when you need it, right?
Way more to it.
So minimizing waste is key. And I don't just mean, trash.
Oh, no.
It's time, effort, anything that doesn't add value to your product.
Right. Streamline everything.
Okay, so to do that, what's crucial?
Well, your supplier relationships got to be rock solid.
Because you're relying on them so much.
Yeah. Huge bet they'll deliver when you need it.
No excuses.
Exactly.
Like a trust fall, but with your whole supply chain.
Haha, good analogy.
What else is essential for JIT?
Efficiency.
Okay.
But I mean laser focus on being efficient.
So no room for error.
Pretty much no hiccups in production, no bottlenecks, no delays.
Every part of the process has got to be in sync.
Exactly. And NetSuite has this great visual, a JIT process diagram and steps. Shows how it all works in this continuous improvement cycle.
Ooh, visuals. I like it. So walk me through it. Where does this cycle begin?
Well, it all starts with a super solid design phase. Not just the product itself, but the whole process.
Yeah.
Your team, how everything fits together.
So like planning a road trip. You've got the destination. But you also need, a map, a reliable car, good company, right?
Perfect analogy.
Things don't always go to plan, though. What then?
That's where the next phase comes in, management. You're constantly tweaking, reviewing, making sure the system's running smoothly.
So everyone's involved,
Yeah.
from the CEO to the people actually making the product.
You got it. Ties into the whole Kaizen philosophy.
Yes.
Constant improvement.
Right.
It's baked into JIT. Everyone can identify waste, suggest ways to do things better.
So it's not just about doing things right, but finding ways to do them better.
Exactly. Then, once you've got design and management locked in, you move to the pull phase.
Coal phase.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
In JIT, you don't just make a ton of products and hope they sell.
Right.
You only produce when there's actual demand. It's all about responding to real-time signals.
Makes sense. But how do you actually do that? How do you know when to pull that trigger?
That's where the Kanban system comes in. Think of it as the nervous system of JIT.
Okay.
Uses cards, physical or digital, to signal inventory needs instantly.
Across the whole supply chain.
Exactly.
So no more guesswork.
Nope. Let's say you're on an assembly line, running low on a part. You use a Kanban card to tell the supplier, hey, need this. No more stockpiling, just in case.
Wow, that's efficient. Seems like JIT could streamline, everything. But what are the real-world benefits we're talking?
One of the biggest. Cost savings, especially in storage.
Because you're not storing as much.
Exactly. If you don't have tons of inventory, you don't need massive warehouses.
Yeah.
We're talking potentially huge reductions in overhead costs.
I bet companies love that. And less warehouse space, that's got to be good for the environment too, right?
Absolutely. Plus, think about production times. With JIT, you're not waiting for materials. Everything's ready to go. So you can produce and deliver products way faster.
Faster production, happier customers. That makes sense.
Totally a win-win.
And what else?
Well, faster production often means better cash flow.
Well,
Businesses aren't stuck with piles of unsold stuff.
because they're only making what they need.
Exactly. So they've got more money to, invest in other areas, research, marketing, that kind of thing.
Okay, so cost savings, less environmental impact, faster production, happier customers, and better cash flow. Sounds like JIT is like the dream for any business.
It definitely has a lot going for it, but gotta be realistic, JIT is not a magic solution.
Right, no system is perfect.
Exactly.
You mentioned those potential downsides earlier.
Yeah.
Let's get into those. What are some of the, risks of relying on this system?
Well, one of the big ones is accurate forecasting.
Okay.
JIT works best when you can, predict demand really well.
Which isn't always easy.
Nope. The market can be unpredictable.
Definitely.
So what happens if there's a sudden surge in orders? Or a new product just takes off.
Yeah, you could be caught off guard, scrambling to get the materials you need.
Exactly. It leads to delays, missed opportunities, unhappy customers.
Yeah, good.
Not good at all. And then there's, well, supply chain disruptions.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, the 2020 pandemic, right?
Everything is shut down.
Showed us just how fragile those global supply chains can be.
Definitely. And even without, like, a pandemic, there can be smaller disruptions, right?
Absolutely. Suppliers could have issues. A shipment gets delayed, weather, who knows?
The labor strike, anything.
Right. And with JIT, even a small hiccup can mess up the whole system.
Like a domino effect.
Yeah. One thing leads to another.
It's like that butterfly effect. But instead of a butterfly, it's a truck stuck in traffic, causing chaos for some company.
Uh-huh. Perfect example. Another thing to consider, over-reliance on suppliers.
Okay.
With JIT, you're putting a lot of trust in them to deliver consistently on time.
Right. Every time.
But what if something happens to that supplier?
Oh, like they go out of business?
Yeah, or they have their own disruptions. Maybe they raise their prices all of a sudden.
That's a good point. You'd be in a tough spot if you didn't have a backup plan. And speaking of prices, doesn't JIT usually mean sourcing things locally?
It can, yeah.
Which is great for local economies, but wouldn't that be more expensive compared to, like, getting materials from overseas?
It's a trade-off, for sure. Local sourcing means shorter lead times, maybe more reliable, but yeah, it might cost more.
So it's about finding that balance, cost, speed, reliability.
Exactly. Which leads us to the big question. Is JIT right for you?
Right, the moment of truth. NetSuite has this list of 6 questions to help figure that out.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go through them.
Okay, sounds good.
First one, can your products be made quickly?
So if it takes months to make something, maybe JIT isn't the best fit.
Right.
JIT works best when production is, like, fast and responsive.
Makes sense. Next question, how good is your demand forecasting?
That's huge. JIT needs accurate predictions.
Because if your forecasts are wrong,
you could end up with too much inventory. Or not enough, which is even worse.
both bad situations.
Yeah, one ties up your money, the other means you can't fulfill orders.
Okay, so forecasting is key. Question 3, how flexible is your supply chain?
This is a big one, especially now.
With all the uncertainty in the world,
Yeah, can your suppliers adapt to changes?
can they handle problems without, like, everything falling apart?
If not, JIT might be too risky.
Right, that makes sense. Next one, how reliable are your suppliers?
We talked about trust before.
Right, crucial for JIT.
You need suppliers who deliver what they promise, on time, every single time.
No room for error.
Exactly.
Question 5 shifts gears a bit. Are your employees on board with a lean system?
This is important. JIT isn't just changing processes, it's changing how people think.
Right, a whole new mindset.
You need that company culture that embraces efficiency, continuous improvement.
Kaizen, right.
Yes, everyone from the top down needs to be on board.
Working together to cut out waste, make things better.
Exactly.
Okay, last question. Does your technology support JIT?
This is where it gets really interesting.
How so?
Well, these days, technology is essential for JIT to work well.
Right. Got to keep up with the times.
You need a good inventory management system.
So you can track everything in real time.
Yeah, see demand signals, coordinate with suppliers seamlessly. We're not talking about, like, spreadsheets anymore.
No, this is sophisticated software. Analyzing data, automating things, giving you real-time insights.
So deciding if JIT is right for you, it's not a simple yes or no.
Definitely not. Businesses need to look at everything. Production, suppliers, technology, their whole setup.
And even if everything looks good on paper, implementing JIT is a journey, not a destination.
No.
It's an ongoing thing, constantly tweaking, adapting.
So not a set-it-and-forget-it system?
Nope, it's dynamic, always evolving.
Well, we've covered a lot. The basics of JIT, the benefits, the risks, the questions to ask before you jump in.
They've given you a lot to think about.
Now, let's take a little detour.
Oh, where are we going?
Back in time. Let's explore the history of this system. It's actually pretty fascinating. Little history lesson, always fun.
Right.
So where did JIT come from?
Ready for this? It all goes back to post-World War II Japan. Their car industry, struggling at the time.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that. You'd think something all about efficiency, precision, come from a more, I don't know, organized time.
I know, right?
But I guess back then they had to be efficient.
Exactly. Post-war Japan had resource shortages.
They had to figure out how to, like, do more with less.
Yeah. Maximize efficiency, minimize waste. That was key.
Necessity really is the mother of invention.
It is. And from that need came the Toyota production system. That's the foundation of what we now call JIT.
Toyota, of course. It all makes sense now. They're known for being super efficient, their manufacturing processes.
Exactly. They were pioneers. Still a great example of JIT in action today.
For sure. But they're not the only ones, right?
Nope, not at all.
What other companies are using JIT successfully?
Well, we got to talk about Amazon.
Of course, Amazon.
They're like the masters of supply chain management.
They practically invented it.
Haha, almost. They've used JIT to build this global empire, delivering products faster and cheaper than anyone.
The poster child for JIT, right?
Pretty much.
What about, like, Apple?
Oh, yeah, another tech giant known for being streamlined, efficient.
Their products, their processes, everything.
Exactly. They've embraced JIT, too, to manage their global supply chain.
Makes sense. Both those companies, they're all about getting products to people fast.
Exactly. Speed and efficiency are their trademarks.
Okay, so JIT for tech giants. What about other industries?
Oh, it's used everywhere. The article mentions Zara, the fashion retailer.
Zara. Interesting.
They're known for, like, getting new styles into stores super fast. That's the power of JIT. They have a tight supply chain, constantly analyzing data, forecasting demand, adjusting production.
So they can react to trends quickly.
Exactly. New designs out there in no time.
Like they know what people want before they even know it.
Haha. Pretty much.
What about Tesla?
Another great example. They're taking control of their whole supply chain.
How so?
Producing more of their own parts, keeping inventory super lean.
So they're not just sitting on a bunch of stuff waiting for orders.
Nope, they get parts delivered just as they need them.
Wow, that's risky, isn't it?
It is, but also incredibly efficient.
No waste, low storage costs, they can be flexible.
Yeah, in a market that's changing constantly.
That's got to be an advantage.
It is.
Plus, they have more control over the quality of their parts, right?
Absolutely. By managing the supply chain so closely, they can make sure they're getting the best quality parts.
Makes sense. So, JIT, it's not just for one industry, it's everywhere.
It's pretty versatile.
Tech, fashion, automotive, you name it.
And even beyond that. The principles of JIT, minimizing waste, optimizing time, efficiency, you can apply those to so many areas of life.
Oh, that's interesting. Not just business.
Right. Think about personal projects, hobbies.
Okay, I'm listening.
You could use a Kanban board to manage your to-do list, or that pull system to declutter your house. Only keep things that you really need or enjoy.
So it's a way of thinking, a shift in perspective.
It is, from just in case to just in time.
JIT for life.
Aha, I like that.
I think we've given our listeners a pretty good understanding of JIT now.
We've covered a lot.
The basics, examples, the history.
And hopefully got people thinking about how they can apply these ideas.
To their own lives, even.
Yeah.
So as you go about your day, think about those JIT principles.
Minimize waste, optimize your time, streamline things.
You might be surprised how much it can help. Boost your productivity, maybe even reduce some stress.
Worth a try, right?
Definitely. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into JIT inventory management.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep those minds engaged.